For a minute, if you don't mind. I know you all had your zipper done already, so thank you. All right, so we want to sew these two together, half inch seam allowance as usual. Make sure that the pattern is matching. So I would pin it in place first, and then I'm gonna sew. It's a notch you have on your fabric. You want to follow your notch. Make sure everything is lining up. But we're not stitching the entire crouch close. We're just only doing a portion of it. So part of it you want to leave undone because we'll join the legs together later. I had a pair of scissors. See the little scissors on the table? Here. Thank you. All right, so before you proceed, you want to make sure that this is matching. They're lining up okay. All right. So then we're going to join the facing. This is the shield. You understand the idea of the shield, right? You unzip it and it protects you. We don't need protection, but we need to. So this is really for the guy, all right? Feel like that is too crazy. It's true. So after you stitch this together, 1/4 inch seam allowance, some stuff. Gonna take it and flip it right side out. We want to press it and we want to stitch this together along the edge, 1/4 inch, so it'll stay and not move around. So on the shield, stitch the bottom, 1/4 inch seam allowance, flip it right side out, press it so the edge is nice and flat, and then stitch it right along the edge, 1/4 inch, so it'll stay in place. So I'm going to stitch these two edges together. I want it to stay together. I don't want it to move around when I go to stitch it together and I think it's together and it's not. Alright, so we'll press that. So the other one is the facing. So this is the shield, this one is the facing. Alright, so we're going to join the facing to the front of the pants and we're going to stitch it together at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And we're going to stitch it all the way down far as it will go in between the seam. So in between the seam. So somebody told me, Jackie, you need to do your nails. I was like, I garden, okay? I'm the kind of person that if I step out in my yard and I see a weed, I'm just going to snatch it up. I'm not going to run and go, oh, I need to get my gloves. Oh, my nails. Okay, then we're going to press this and flip it back, the seams toward the facing, and edge stitch. Right along the edge. It's more difficult to see with this clad pattern, but you all get the idea. All the way down to the very bottom and back stitch. And then you're going to go and press it. Let me get my zipper foot. I pulled it out, but I don't have it over here. Hold on, stay not too tight. Alright, so everybody with me so far? A lot of steps, right? You gotta write them down, right? So you can remember how to do it. Now you want to put your zipper foot on the machine with the opening on the left side. And I have a handout too, so I'm going to give you all the handouts because we need all of this in your notebook. So I'm unzip my zipper. Remember, we want the zipper pull to face up. So if this is the right side and this is the right side and we need right sides together, then this needs to flip over so we'll have right sides together, right? So this one, pin it in place, and then we're going to stitch from the bottom up. It's a woven line on the zipper, so if you would follow that on the zipper tape, follow one of the woven lines because you don't want to stitch it too close to the teeth that you can zip it up. Some people stitch it just too close. I'll show you all because good, this zipper is light and this thread is black. So after you do this step, zip it up to make sure you can zip it up easily. Now we're going to attach the shield to this. So here's my shield. So everybody had a good weekend? Good. Did nobody basement flood? Yeah, I know, it's like crazy. I didn't know it rained that much. It's like, wow. So now we're going to attach these together. So the curved part is going at the bottom. This is matching up at the top. You can take it and flip it to the other side and stitch from the top down. That way you can follow the same stitches you did at first. So you know you're not going over too far, excuse me, to the zipper teeth. And we're going to stitch this all the way down to the bottom. And after this, I'm going to go get you all a copy of this. See if I can get you all a color copy. And then we want to back stitch. So make sure the seams stay open. And make sure you go all the way to the bottom. So now we have the shield in. And now we need to edge stitch this. So if you don't want to change the foot back and forth, you're going to have to sew some parts from the top, some parts from the bottom. So now I'm going to stitch this side from the top down. So I'm going to edge stitch. I hope everybody can see okay. And then make sure you flip this back and stitch it all the way down. And back stitch. 2 more steps. So now, I know a lot of stuff, right? So now we have the one side of the zipper in. And then this should have been pressed already, right? We want to take these and line it up so that this, you can see, if you do it right, that this will come over and conceal that seam. And we're going to pin it in place. And let's try and keep the pattern lined up because we don't want it to stretch. So be careful you don't stretch your fabric while you're sewing it, that your pattern don't line up. Or that you don't press it and be pushing it and pulling it too much. And then you press it out of shape. So we don't want to overpress. And we definitely don't want to stretch it while we. So this is just covering up the stitch I just made. Edge stitch, and I'm trying to make sure my pattern stays lined up in place. And now I want to stitch my zipper to my facing. So now I'm going to stitch this to the facing. And again, you can use your foot as your guide and let it just ride along the side of the tape. That way you know you're not stitching over too far. Let that be my guide. Let that be your guide. And then all the way to the bottom and back stitch. And then the last step. The last step is to stitch along here to create my lines to join the facing and the fabric together, but I need to make sure my shield is folded back out of the way. So this is the same zipper that's in your jeans and your dress slacks that zip up the front. The only difference in your jeans, you don't have the shield, but your dress slacks you do. And we see it both in men and women garments. That's why we put in the women's slacks. The only difference is the men's zipper different than the women's. So you should mark yourself a guideline. We're going all the way past that stitch so we can make sure it's still closed. I'm going to give us a slight little curve going here. Make sure the shield is out of the way so you don't stitch it. You should measure from this edge back about 1 inch. And then you're going to continue to follow whatever your guideline is all the way up to the top. And pull the pins out last, so don't take these out until you're totally finished. And then we have a zipper with a shield. Okay? And of course I'll help you all through all the steps to get it done because it's a lot of steps. Okay?